Hey y'all, thank you for joining me for this 999 portal reading. If it's your first time joining me, my name is Keita, and if you are a returning viewer, what's happening? Welcome back. I wanted to make sure to get a reading out to you guys about this 999 portal because it'll be a while before we experience another portal like it, and it's also very significant because we are amidst eclipse season. So there's a lunar eclipse on September 7th. At the time that I'm recording this, it is September 4th. The 9-9 portal is on September 9th, with September being the 9th month, and we're in a universal 9 year. So the energy of the number 9 is especially amplified at this time, and many of us are being called to close out cycles, which means if we're closing the door on something or some things, we're opening the door to something new. And I know for me, I've had some revelation, because for many of us it won't be one thing, right? So for example, I had a revelation last week about subbing. So all last year I did the substitute teaching thing. Not every day, like a few days out the week. Sometimes I would do a 5-day week, but for the most part, a few days here and there. And then I started to do it this school year, and the divine and my Ori, my higher self, was really showing me like, yeah, nah, close the door. This contract has expired. We done with this. The messages were coming through so loud and clear to the point that one day last week I was just like, okay, I ain't going back. I blocked the number of the there's like a system that calls us to see if we want to accept an assignment. Block the number. It's nothing that I have to like write in to quit or nothing like that. But I'm not going in the system to accept any assignments, and I'm not accepting any calls. It was made very clear to me that I'm no longer to do that, that it served its purpose, and that I am to trust where I'm being led going forward, and to make that decision, because of course I have freedom of choice, free will, but to make that decision based on my value for myself, my time, my energy. And then so I made the decision, was like, okay, I surrender, I quit, I'm straight, no, don't worry about it, you right. Right. And that was last week, and then last night I had a dream, and in that dream it was basically confirming any doubt that I had about the decision that I made. And so I'm just holding on to faith that I've made the right decision in closing out that cycle and honoring myself and my worth, and making the best decision for myself as I am being divinely led going forward. So it's stuff like that y'all might be experiencing. One thing that's also coming to me is do not underestimate the power of love. For many of you, this eclipse and this 9-9 portal is leading you to close out some cycles in terms of how you've loved on yourself, what self-love has looked like for you, and the relationships that you aligned with when you loved yourself from a certain level. And now that you are expanding and ascending in terms of loving yourself, aligning with deeper, higher, better quality love relationships. And that's in reference to your family, your friends, who you doing business with, like just making sure that things are in alignment and there's no superficial ties or no karmic ties, no low vibe energy that's keeping you bound to situations for the sake of love. Like your concept of love is changing, the power of love. And that was coming to me because as I was getting ready to turn on the camera and do the reading, I kept hearing this song, Love Power by Willie Hutch. Now, if you don't know who Willie Hutch is, we might not be able to be friends. So you need to hurry up and get acquainted so we can stay friends. But Love Power is a song I used to hear. If it wasn't in the club, it was my folks playing it, or like now I play quite a bit of Willie Hutch myself around the house. But the lyrics of the song, once I looked it up, are speaking to just how the things that love will lead you to do, the direction that love will lead you in. So I'm going to share that and then get back to some of the like numerology and symbology associated with this 9/9 portal. And then we're going to circle back to the lyrics of the song because I'm being led to pull from the Power of Love Oracle. So yeah, I'm going to be a little all over the place, but it all is relative to the energy of this 9/9 portal. So the song hook is Love Power, talking about love power. And then in the lyrics, he says, talking about that thing, yeah, have you walking the street late at night, talking about that thing that sometimes make wrong seem right, talking about that good old feeling that when it's gone causes nations to fight. Oh, I'm talking about that thing called love that kept Romeo after Juliet all night. Talking about that love power. People, we need more love power. You ought to let your love, your little love light shine. Talking about that thing kind of put a little pep in your step. Talking about that thing that once you got it deep down, you won't need no help. Talking about that good old feeling that gets way down in your bones. I'm talking about that good old love that once you got it, you can't leave it alone. This definitely one of them songs that when it come on, my inner auntie coming out. Like, that's my jam. But it's speaking about the power of love and the things that love will lead you to do, the direction that love will lead you in. Like when it ain't what's on you, it's what's in you. And when it's in you, like you're gonna move a certain way, you're gonna behave a certain way, you're gonna react a certain way. And this 9/9 portal is for many of you who may not have allowed yourself to love in that way, are going to experience love differently, or being called in some way to experience love differently. So like for some of you, if it's family and you've been bound to family dynamics, showing up to the functions, Christmas and all that, feeling obligated, meanwhile you can't stand them people, like, no, God is saying you deserve better. Love yourself better. Make yourself available to in alignment with your soul family. God will send you people who will show you the support and the love that you desire, who don't have your blood running through their veins. Those bonds can deepen when you release and heal that which you've been holding on to that no longer serves you. So that's the thing. In the Orisha pantheon, the Orisha that is associated with the number 9 is Oya. Oya is the Orisha of the winds of change and transformation, and she brings about storms. She helps us navigate the storm. She brings the storms that are needed when we won't move, when we won't evolve, when we won't grow, when we won't change. She brings that catalyst and then gives us the resilience to ride it out. Brings us the resources that we need to rebuild after the storm. So for many of you, if you find yourself amidst some sort of storm, or by way of this 9/9 portal, or find yourself coming out of one, you can work with the energy of Oya. I do have some notes of things I want to share with y'all, so I'm gonna pull them up so as to make sure that I don't miss any other points that I want to make. But yeah, not only is Oya the Orisha of the storms, winds, and transformation, but she's also known as the woman who goes before her husband in battle. Like, she goes before him to war. She has that kind of strength. She has that kind of power and that kind of will. For some of you, this 9-9 portal is calling you to take assessment of who you got on the front lines with you, who you got beside you, who could you get to go before you in war, or stand beside you in war. My great grandmama always used to say, prepare for war in times of peace. And so it behooves us to think in that way. Like, as you see things are shifting and changing and evolving, and there won't always be good days, and the prices of produce and food is high, and the housing market is crazy, and all of the things that are going on, and we're living in a time where there are wars and rumors of wars. Like, for real, who you got on your team? who is a part of the squad? That is something that many of you are needing to assess, and you may find that you're misaligned or mispartnered in some way, that you got people that and I just saw 1111, because this portal is bringing you to the awareness that you need to be mindful of what you're placing your time, your energy, and your resources, what you're investing in terms of partnership, tribe, who you're working with, and things of that nature. Oya is the one who clears the path. She destroys what no longer serves and ushers in necessary endings for new life to begin. So if you find yourself in a predicament where something is ending or something is needing to begin, and you don't have the strength, or you feel like you don't have the resources, work with Oya. What I mean by working with Oya is gather you some storm water. The next time we have a storm, put you a jar outside and get you some of that water and bathe in it. Pray to Oya, talk to Oya. Not that a Christian begging prayer. That's not what we talking about here. We talking about, hey, listen, word on the curb is that you that girl when it comes to this type of shit. Help your girl out. Help your boy out. Lead me in the right direction. Send me a sign. Send me a call, a resource, an image, or something. Like, send me an opportunity. Open that door. You know what I'm saying? And allow Oya to clear the path for you. She like I said, she is associated with the number 9. She likes eggplant. You can cut you some eggplant up into like 9 slices and set it out and pray and give her offering. She's also associated with the color purple and the is it the 7 colors of the rainbow? I know she has a skirt that has different colors of the rainbow, but I'm not sure if it's 9 colors. It's got to be 9. So yeah. Do your research as it relates to Oya, because in this 9 year and us approaching this 9 portal, we are reaching the pinnacle of this 9 energy, and it's all about ending cycles. The number 9, the star of the show, is about completion and mastery, and again, the closing of cycles. And when you close out a cycle, that means that you leaving some shit behind. And that could be some behavioral patterns, that could be some habits, that could be some people, that could be some places. Some of you are shifting careers. Like, things are changing. We are amidst monumental changes in our lives individually as well as collectively, and it's all about release. Not only is this a 9-9 portal, but with this lunar full moon eclipse, that's all about release. So you want to be intentional about releasing, and you also want to be accepting of what it is you're being led to release. So some things you may be like intentionally focused on releasing, but there are also some things that God is going to bring to your awareness, like God brought to my awareness about subbing, that you need to release and just surrender to it, so that you make room for and are able to lay a strong foundation for the new beginnings. For some of us, what's ending is self-sabotage. The ways that we've been presented with opportunities to have more and have better, because more ain't always better. Quality connections and things and just lives, period. Higher levels of consciousness. We're being shown how, when we've been presented with all of these opportunities, we've self-sabotaged. Fear of success is a real thing. Some of us, we've been so accustomed to being in lack, going without or settling for less, that when we are presented with opportunities to have better or more, we sabotage it because we feel like we're not worthy of having it, or that we don't have the capacity to do what it takes to keep it. But the cycles that are closing out are calling forth that within us that feels worthy, that deserves it, that's willing to do what it takes to not only accept it, magnetize it, bring it in, receive it, but also to nurture it and keep it, to grow it, and to multiply the blessings, the good things. And so that's a key theme. I'm trying to see here. With one thing that I did a eclipse season reading. One thing that I did not point out that came to my awareness after I did that reading is that the Pisces lunar eclipse that's on September 7th is going to be visibly seen in certain parts of Africa, Asia, and Europe. And excuse me, one download that I had is that for those of us who have those cultures in our heritage, in our DNA, it's going to really affect like our spiritual gifts, with the eclipse being in Pisces, and Pisces being about spirituality and as well as love and romance. So like for me, I have like 40 some odd percent Nigerian heritage, like 20 some odd percent Central African heritage, 3% is it Asian, South Asian, Spanish, Portuguese, something like that. And so those are energies that are in my DNA. That's heritage that's in my DNA. So I can expect those gifts to heighten. So as it relates to like African heritage and Yoruba religion and spirituality and practices, some of those things are that have been lying dormant are coming online, so to speak, or coming to my awareness. I'm remembering certain gifts and talents or information as it relates to my spiritual journey and those heritages. So be mindful of that, especially if you know that you have those heritage in your bloodline somewhere. Also, circling back to Oya, with that Oya energy being prominent and those endings taking place, the cycles and the storms, like one thing about it, especially her being the one who goes out to battle before her husband, is that she has the capacity to feel the fear and do the shit anyway. Like, just because she gonna go out there and fight and go to war don't mean she may not have some fear or be afraid. However, this shit got to be done. You know what I'm saying? And who better than me, right? We got shit to do. We on a mission, right? And so you may be faced with things that, yeah, you're afraid, but you're needing to feel the fear and do it anyway. So like me deciding not to continue subbing, I don't got shit to supplement that income right now. So there's a little bit of fear involved, but at the end of the day, like, I can't keep dishonoring myself by putting myself in those types of predicaments. And so I have to feel the fear and do the shit anyway. And by do it, I mean not continue to put myself in that situation and take the leap of faith to rely on other sources of income right now. And also have faith that other opportunities will present themselves the way that one did. So I am going to share with you guys some information from numerology and the divine triangle, my go-to book for numerology in my library. And according to this book, the number 9 represents selflessness and compassion, encompassing a love for all. I told y'all there's an element of this energy of this portal that speaks to the power of love. Also, there's an aspect of it that I've been getting downloads that's about forgiveness and grace. Because when you think about it, for many of you, the cycle that you're needing to close out is by way of forgiveness. Forgiveness is a portal. When you walk through that portal of forgiveness, forgiving others, forgiving yourself, having compassion and grace for others and for yourself, that's like you take a quantum leap into a whole new timeline, free of whatever it was that you needed to forgive that may have been weighing you down, or that you needed to ask for forgiveness for. But for many of you, definitely want to do the work to forgive yourself, because you can ask other people for forgiveness and acknowledge your fault or wrongdoing, and take accountability, and they accept your apology and they do the work to forgive you. But you're still carrying the weight if you have not forgiven yourself. So that's important as you're closing out cycles as well. But it says that 9 is selflessness and compassion, encompassing a love for all. It desires to apply its energy to universal service. For many of you, the cycles that you're closing is taking you into deeper alignment with being of service in this 3D reality, stepping deeper into your life purpose and why you're here, and how you're meant to be in service to the collective. It bestows an impersonal but just view of life, one that is generous, benevolent, and patient. This is the artist and thinker who has developed skills through the preceding cycles and is now ready to share his or her knowledge with the rest of the world. Some of y'all are harboring your testimonies. You're harboring your gifts and talents out of fear of sharing them with the collective, when that is the thing that's going to help somebody else heal and help somebody else grow and help somebody else evolve and help somebody else ascend. And again, you're needing to feel the fear and do the shit anyway. Because what you will find is that once you step over that threshold of fear and you get out there on the battlefield or the stage or the front lines or whatever, whatever it is you're being led to step into. Just saw 2323, which just reminded me of another download, but I'll circle back to it. Once you do that, though, you will find that the fear was an illusion, and that you're actually a whole beast out here. You're a warrior. You have the strength of what was that damn trend they had, 100 gorillas or some shit like that. Yeah, that's you. But you've got to push past the fear to do the thing. Do not allow the fear to paralyze you. Don't stay in analysis paralysis, because a lot of what this eclipse is bringing forth, an eclipse will show you what's in your blind spot. It's gonna shine light on that shit you didn't want to see. What it will show you is that where you thought you were making progress and making moves, you actually been stuck. But back to 2323. I'm really all over the place, but it all makes sense to me. I've been getting downloads about that number, and it reminds me of a reading I did a couple of years ago where I was talking about being in your Jordan year. I think it was 2023 at the time. But the number 23 is significant. It breaks down to a 5, which speaks of change. So the winds of change energy being supported there. But not only like being the best at your game, like Jordan, the Michael Jordan, the player who wore the number 23, but the name Jordan speaks of the Jordan River. And that's pertinent to the energy that is taking place, because we got a lot of placements and transits in Pisces, especially this lunar eclipse in Pisces. And that's water energy. So you definitely want to work with the water deities like Oshun or Olokun or Yemaya, Persephone. There's several, depending on what culture you resonate with, water deities that you can work with. And even if you don't work with deities, just making sure that you're taking cleansing water baths, staying hydrated, speaking into your water to manifest, water gazing if you're familiar with that. But water is an important energy, and the Jordan being a river, that's the river that hold on, I think I might have had it, some information about it in my notes. Nope, but wait. Yeah, it represents threshold and transition. In the Bible, the Jordan is where the Israelites crossed into the promised land. Spiritually, it represents moving from one cycle or state of being into a higher one. Endings and new beginnings, much like Oya and the number 9. It also represents purification and renewal. The river is most famous as the place where John the Baptist baptized Jesus. Again, the 8-8 portal called us deeper into Christ consciousness, being unconditionally loving and embodying that Christ energy, being Christ did. It says this links the Jordan to cleansing, rebirth, spiritual initiation, and the washing away of old identities. For some of you, you've had traumatizing experiences that you still hold within you, within your DNA, within your cells, within your light body, and you're needing a baptism. And you ain't got to go to no church to get one. You can baptize yourself, or you can work with a spiritualist like me for a spiritual bath. But you're needing to do the energy work to clear away that energy, because you'd be amazed at what you're carrying. And then some of that shit is like shit you carrying from past lives. It ain't even stuff that happened in this lifetime. So you want to be mindful of that. The Jordan is also a gateway between worlds. Symbolically, the Jordan River is a liminal space, the crossing point between the physical and the spiritual, the known and the unknown. It mirrors the passage into new consciousness, transformation, and surrender. It also represents death and resurrection. Many traditions view crossing the Jordan as symbolic of death and the journey into eternal life. Energetically, it points to releasing the old self so a reborn self can emerge. Endings, and more endings. Change. For those of you who do not like change, the experiences that you will have by way of this 9-9 portal is going to put it in your face, front and center. And it will behoove you to surrender to it and not resist it, because it's for your highest good. The resistance will only bring more conflict and chaos into your life. So it says here in the book that the ions are in their final state of completion. They've traveled the entire cycle of 9 parts, ingesting experiences along the way. Now in the closing cycle, they reach a total understanding and tolerance of others' views and prejudices. 9 is ready to give back to the universe some measure of what it has learned through the 8 previous steps of the cycle. The law of cyclicity allows for no waste and demands input for output. Reciprocity. You're being led to more reciprocal situations, showing up in a more reciprocal way, and also people being more reciprocal to you. When this is done willingly, the completion experience under 9 brings only joy at the gift of life and the freedom with which to enter the next cycle unencumbered. Putting them bags down, all that emotional baggage and shit y'all been carrying up to this point. Think back 9 years ago, what you were going through, what your experience was. A lot of that y'all are leaving if you align with the energy of this 999 portal. You're leaving a lot of the baggage that you've accumulated over the past 9 years behind. And that is beautiful. That is something to celebrate. That is something to be joyful and happy about. Let me see. Is that all my notes? Yeah, that's damn near everything. I'm gonna pull some cards to close us out. I'm gonna be pulling from the Alice in Wonderland oracle, because I love to use my girl Alice to tap into these portal energies. And then we're gonna close out with a message from the power of love. So I'm asking, we already know what's gonna be the central theme, right? It's endings, change, transformation, rebirth, the power of love. But also just wanting to get a closing message. What Spirit wants me to bring forth as a closing message. Oh shit. I have come to realize that when my cards fall on the floor, because like different ways the cards fall out mean different things for different readers. And I've come to realize that when mine fall on the floor, that means something is grounding. So one of the cards that fell down, and it fell down face down, is falling, represented by the number 4, the unknown, descent, momentum, change. For many of you, there's change taking place in your life that affects you that you are not even aware of. Like somebody attached to you or somebody that you are aligned with in some way is experiencing monumental change, and the momentum is picking up in some way and you're not aware of it, hence the card falling face down and falling on the ground. So that's the change that is grounding. Then we have, what I say, feel the fear and do it anyway. The number 5, becoming braver. And then you got the number 4 with falling, and you're progressing with the number 5. That's a moving forward, becoming braver, resilience, experience, growing stronger, and fresh perspective. This 9-9 portal is bringing in a new perspective, and it's one that is infusing courage and strength to close the doors that you're meant to close and open the ones that you're meant to open. And then we have, represented by the number 38, which breaks down to an 11, which is all about mastery. You are rare and free. There are not many like you. Understand that you are a unique individual and that you are to govern yourself as such. You're not meant to go along and get along and do what everybody else does. And so this portal is very much calling you out as an individual. We've been talking about individuation and the hero's journey. So many of you are reaching that point on your journey where you're having the courage to be more of your individual self, and fuck who don't like it. At the top of the deck, we have It's Always Tea Time, represented by the number 26, which breaks down to an 8. Eternity, endless moments, and repetition. Doing the same thing over and over with the same people. Just a repetitive cycles of going through the same shit. Waking up every day doing the same thing like you in the movie Groundhog Day. And coming out of that to realize where you may have been painting the roses red, represented by the number 27, which breaks down to a 9. That's more progression. That's more moving forward and making progress, because you're realizing where you was doing the same shit over and over and not making much progress, and you were actually not being honest with yourself, painting the roses red, telling yourself things were better than they were. So that's the message from Alice. And what's the closing message from the Power of Love? Yo, I cannot make this shit up, yo. Harmony and individuality. Being more at peace, having joy, having more balance in your life, being your fucking self. Your rare, unique, talented, gifted, strong, brave, fine self. Different self. Harmony. You are able to feel a loving, balanced connection with everything. That Christ consciousness, understanding how all things are connected and the part that you play in the connection. Individuality. You leave your unique stamp of love on everything you do. You are not a mistake. Your journey has not been a mistake. No matter how hard, difficult, traumatic, painful, none of it has been a mistake. All of it has been for your good, leading you up to the point where you are now, where you are making these monumental shifts, feeling the fear and doing the shit anyway, as an individual, not a carbon copy of somebody else. At the top of the deck, we have respect. And at the bottom, past. So having respect for the journey, having respect for yourself. And then with past, it says, through the power of love, you release any stagnant situations or energy in order to transform your heart space, leaving behind anything that would keep you from experiencing, embodying, manifesting the power of love. Y'all, I hope the message found you well. If it did not find you well, I hope something was said that leaves you well. If you would like a personal private reading, feel free to email me, or you can go to my Etsy store to book an online reading. I also do private and group sound healing sessions, so you can book that as well. But leave your comments down below if something was said that resonates, and don't forget to click that like button. Subscribe if you have not subscribed already, and until next time, peace.